Hi, I'm Drew.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to Drewling Samantics.
Hello, mate. Guten Tag, guten Morgen, bonjour, hola, buongiorno. How about that?
Yes, I am well aware of what you're doing. No one else is. Well, they are. You're saying hello or welcome in different languages.
Hello, welcome in several different languages.
Yes.
I've gone international.
You have and you haven't. No spoilers, mate. You know how we work. No spoilers. All will be revealed shortly. But hello, mate. How you doing? Good to see you. Cheers.
I'm very good, thank you, Sam. Very good indeed. Yeah. Good to see you. Looking all spruce and fresh. Have a busy week.
Always, mate. Always doing something, whether it's productive or useful, is completely neither here nor there. But yeah, no, it's been a busy one. A rather exciting job, which I will talk about another time because we have far more important things going on right now today. But yeah, I've been busy-ish. How about you?
Yeah, busy-ish. Take my foot off the gas a little bit after the half term and that. So we just done a little bit of come down from that. Planning a little Easter event. So we just been doing sorting out marketing, etc. Learning some lines. I'm doing a new dinner show.
No.
So that's coming up. So I've just sort of started looking at the script for that. But yeah, apart from that, a good week, a good productive week.
Very nice. And the good week's about to get better, isn't it? Because we're about to be joined by someone rather special.
Very special, a very talented, a very beautiful, a very, how can I say, very international performer, actress, a good friend of yours.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Things are starting to connect. They're
all starting to connect. I mean, she will be able to tell you far better than either Sam or I about her very, very busy, a very illustrious, a very international career. And in fact, I don't think I'm going to keep anybody waiting any longer. Why wait for such a wonderful lady? So she's in the waiting room now. She's ready to join. So, ladies and gentlemen, please meet the extraordinary, the wonderful Paola Fareri.
And there she is, someone I have not seen for many, many years, but I'm so excited to be chatting to for the first time in ages. Paola Fareri, the beautiful, the talented Paola. How are you, my lovely? Been forever.
Yeah, it's been forever. I'm good, actually. Good. A little bit tired, but great.
I think we can allow that, and we're obviously going to go into just how busy you are. But yeah, I think you have a valid excuse there. Paola McDrew, Drew McPaola, two
Hi,
old
Paola.
of mine.
Hi, Drew.
One is old and one is a friend. No, I'm joking, but it is wonderful to see you, Paola. But obviously, there are people out there, although judging by how well travelled and how busy you are, probably not that many that don't know who you are. But just in case we have some listeners and viewers who don't know who you are, give us a quick introduction. Tell us a little bit about you, who you are and what you do.
All right. So I'm Paola Fareri, and I'm Brazilian, but I was raised in Italy, and I'm a musical theater performer. It sounds like such a title, musical theater performer. But yeah, I basically sing and dance for a living, let's say.
I think, Paola, you've oversimplified that because, I mean, you are far, far more than just a singer and a dancer and a musical theatre performer. I mean, Sam's told me so much about you, but I mean, we need to know more. So, currently, where are you and what are you doing at this moment? And then we'll go back over your long, long history. So where are you at the moment? Where are you speaking from?
So at the moment, I'm speaking from Paris. I'm in the cast of The Lion King here in France as a swing cover Nala. And actually, this is my personal little Nala. She's being very naughty at the moment. Yes, she loves her mommy and she loves mommy's chai latte. So
yes, but anyone listening in and not watching on YouTube, Paola has got a beautiful little puppy who shares the name of the main role that you cover in Lion King.
Correct.
But Lion King is by no means your first foray into big musical theatre shows. So give us a quick rundown of a few previous credits as well, and then we'll dive into where they were and what you were doing.
Okay, so I started my career with Spring Awakening, and which is not like, I mean, it's well known, but not that much apparently. But it's a beautiful show, so I'm very grateful I got to start my career with that. And then I did Bodyguard, Aladdin, followed by the tour of Bodyguard, the international tour of Bodyguard, which we had to stop. And then Lion King. Yeah,
Wow.
Lion King. So this is my second Disney show, I have to say.
I mean, as credits go, that's a pretty illustrious list and incredibly impressive, but well justified. You've obviously earned the position of where you've been. But so you said obviously you had to stop a show in the middle. We'll come on to that as well because like us and like everyone else across the globe, but particularly people in the industry, we were heavily affected by the unwelcome guest, and you've got examples of that. But so sort of going back a bit, as you said, you're Brazilian, but were raised in Italy. Did your
Correct.
performing career start in Italy then?
Yeah, actually, Spring Awakening was in Italy. I was in the original cast of the Italian production. We the Actually, that production was beautiful. Like it's very dear to my heart. And what I really appreciated is that the producers decided to leave the songs in English. And so we would act in Italian, but we would sing in English. And we had this massive chalkboard. You say
Yes.
chalkboard in English, right? With all, because of course it's in a school, Spring Awakening. Most of the play is in a school, and so we had this huge chalkboard with all the translations, and it looked like someone was writing the translations with a chalk, and like so it was beautiful. It was the beginning of my career, but also one of the shows that I keep with me, really.
I've never done the show, but I know people who have, and I know of it. It's very very well known, and a lot of people say the same. It is the sort of thing that it's like a collective experience. People would sort of say it stays with them for many years, and people have made friendships through that show. It's an extraordinary show to do.
It's crazy to think that one of like my closest friends, some of my closest friends came from that period of my life or from that show. And with some of them, I'm still in contact. With some of them, I'm very close. Like they're my best friends. So yeah, it was beautiful. Definitely hard to do. I was 19 and I didn't have the tools to know how to separate my job from my private life. And because I was playing a character that is very tormented. I was playing Marta Bessel, which is this girl that's abused and beaten by her father. I really struggled with my private life and personal life, with the relationship with my dad at the time. And also, I think the whole cast kind of struggled to separate what we were doing on stage and what we would bring because we were on tour. So you could tell, like at the dinner table, nobody was talking after the show. It was a show that in a sense kind of consumed us the first year, and then the second year we kind of got better. We started going out and like actually separate the two things. But because it's a show that is so intense that you cannot just portray it, you have to find some truth in it. So I done interviews, and I also went to meetings of different girls that went through the same things when they were children. So that was very hard on me because, of course, I was bringing their experiences on stage, and I couldn't find Paola anymore.
That's extraordinary. That's extraordinary.
And equally a challenge to portray something in multiple languages at the same time. Obviously, the songs will have been best known in the original English, which they were written, but then to have the performance around that in Italian, so your home language, so to speak, and then English, which as we're well aware, we're very lucky in England and in all the English speaking countries. It is probably the most widely spoken language,
Yeah,
and particularly in Europe, you learn it from a very young age.
correct.
I've always
Not
said
that well, not in Paris.
no.
Not in France.
Exactly. Not in France.
Oh, right, okay. But most others, so I spent a little bit of time in Germany and I've been other places around Europe, and I know that it is taught from a very young age. So
Absolutely, yeah.
did that then sort of instigate your wanting to come to the UK to perform, or were there other stages in between that?
No, there were other stations in between. It's funny because during I didn't nominate a title actually. I did also a show called America, the musical, which was here in Italy. It was an original production, and actually the composer passed away a few days ago. So it was very sad for me to hear because it was such a beautiful show, and we were talking about the immigrations that all Italians had to do towards the US. And I love that role too, but it was at the same time of Spring Awakening. So that was very challenging because the two companies made possible for them to create a calendar around my schedule. So I would finish with Spring Awakening, and then I would fly over to another city to do America, and then fly back to Spring Awakening, and so on. So actually, I remember one day, I mean, I was young and I thought, okay, I have it all down, like I'm good. Two very different characters. Marta, very sad introvert, like she, a person that her father abuses and all of that. And the other character, Maria, which was my other character, was very bubbly, very outspoken, very, a little bit like sort of awful. Like she was like a lot of joy and a lot of, like she was
Yeah.
chaos, completely chaos in the show. So it was very different characters, very different shows. And the thing that I remembered is one day I was in the wings right before Mama Who Bore Me, which is the first number that we used to do the reprise in Spring Awakening. And I was just there waiting because sometimes you get into automatism, which is something that you should never do because then you get lost. And yeah, I was just there. Like I was very confident in what I was doing because it was already many times that I did one day one and one day the other and so on. So I was just waiting in the wings and I had this moment of like chaos, like complete panic in my mind because I realized I don't know which show I am. I don't know. Like I was like, what is the next number? And I just remember like trying to figure out through my clothes. I was looking at my clothes, but it didn't connect. I was still like, wait, what is the first, in which show am I? So I turned to my colleague, actually, Andrea Simonetti, and I said, what am I doing? And he immediately understood what I meant because he could see the panic in my face. So he just said, you're in Spring Awakening, look around you, like different cast, and you're going to sing Mama Bore Me reprise. And that's how I went on because, yeah, I was like, what's happening? So I learned from that. Never get into automatism. Never.
It's funny because if you explain that to someone who isn't in our industry, they go, well, how do you get confused? And how can that happen? And I often say, I mean, I did lots of weekly rep, which is a play a week, a different play every week. So you're rehearsing one, performing one, learning the next. You've got 3 shows in the head.
Yeah.
I had exactly the same thing. I walked on stage one night and went, this isn't my living room. And the reason being, that was the play last week.
Yeah.
And if you explain that to people, they think, how can that happen? And I say, have you ever walked into a room and gone, why am I here? Why am I here? It's that feeling. It's that feeling of, why did I just come into this room? Well, I came here for something. What was it? I said, that's the feeling. I said, but if you're a performer and you've suddenly got to walk on stage and there are hundreds of people waiting for you to say a line, sing a song or whatever, and you don't know what it is, that is a very scary moment in your life.
Honestly, it freaked me out because in that moment I realized, okay, next time if I do accept something like that, I really need to make sure um that I can do it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's hard, and I did do it again because I am absolutely crazy. So it did happen to me again. But yeah, that's another story. But yeah, basically I did Spring Awakening America, then I went on the cruise ships, and then I moved to London where I met you, Sam.
You did,
Uh,
or you?
so we did the gig together, and after that I was called to do bodyguard in Germany. So I left to do bodyguard in Germany for 1 year. I didn't get to finish the year because 1 month before they closed, I got Aladdin, so I had to start the rehearsals for Aladdin. And 1 month before Aladdin closed, I got to join the tour of bodyguard. It was like all consequentials. And then because uh, yeah, we had to stop basically, and unwelcome guests
Yes, the
came.
unwelcome
We had
guest
to
came.
stop our run, which it was a shame because we were about to go to Switzerland.
Wow.
Actually, the entire cast went to Switzerland, but because we had 1 week off, just 1 week off, of course everybody went back home.
Oh.
My home was Italy at the
Yeah.
moment, where my parents were. So I was the first person that got stuck. When I needed to join to get to Switzerland, the company was like, "Oh, because you've been in Italy, you cannot come. You have to quarantine in London." And that's what I did. I got stuck in London, then everything closed, and I stayed in London for like 2 months before I could go back to Italy by
Oh,
myself, completely alone.
Wow.
That was hard.
that's tough. That's very tough.
And
That was
a
hard.
major kind of period for everyone. So just to go back a bit, obviously, I'm sure people are intrigued. The show we did together, so we were in Bunga Broadway, which I've talked about on the podcast previously, very briefly, but it was essentially, the way I describe it, it was like an immersive musical in a West End cabaret club, basically.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's like a mix between that and like a dinner show. Like
yeah,
people
yeah,
could yeah, but definitely it was an immersive experience because they would
yeah.
interact a lot with us. So
I mean, it was mad. It was such a crazy premise. So essentially, Paola, you were the daughter of an Italian mobster who decided that he wanted his second in command to write a musical so his daughter could be the star. Then the
correct.
others of us sort of played various mob members. I was Swing, so I was playing various characters, but mainly played an incredible character called Johnny Blueballs, who basically just enjoyed killing and maiming
Yeah,
people. And we
yeah.
had some
I mean, a lot
stunning
of
songs.
characters over there were enjoying killing
But yes,
people.
yeah, I think
It was kind of the main thing we were going for, like around like this
yeah,
fabricated
absolutely.
mafia story. But yeah,
But we were lucky enough to do a show that had been custom written, used lots of different, very very famous musical songs.
loved
Got
it.
to meet, yeah.
Do you
We
remember what you used to sing?
I used to sing Dentist from Little Shop of
Yeah,
Horrors. That was
yes.
when I was Johnny Blueballs, anyway. But there was also we did. I'm trying to think of other stuff that was in it. Beauty and the Beast. We opened with Be Our Guest.
Yeah, we used to do Officer Crumpkey.
Officer Krupke from West Side Story.
Um,
The intro song after the main sort of like introduction was Hairspray, I think,
we
wasn't
can
it?
stop the beat. You can stop the beat was
Yeah.
the
So
closing
and it was
number.
just
I used to sing. My song was "I'm the Greatest Star," of course,
yes,
very fitted in the character
yeah.
that I was playing. Lele used to sing "Why God."
Yes, yes. Daniela used to perform. My God, I mean, it was a stunning, stunning show in that it had
Yeah,
such a variety of songs. It had a real variety of performers as well, but everyone was brilliant. Everyone was fully
they loved
invested.
it, and yeah, the public loved it. I have to
Yes,
say,
they
like
did.
they
So
they, they adored it.
a mad experience, and you lived to tell the tale. You shared a stage with me, and you haven't regretted it. So we're
No,
winning there. But
not
yeah,
at
so
all.
as you say, that experience in the UK, and then came Bodyguard. But So you've now been you performed in Italian, you performed in Italian and English, then you've come over to the UK, performed fully in English, and then Bodyguard comes up, and lo and behold, another language. So tell us more about
Yeah.
Bodyguard.
So I got cast in August. I remember I was working because in between the gigs at the place where we worked, I took over another shift in the same company in the reception group, just because my best friend moved in with me from Italy and she didn't have a job. So in order for me to support both of us, I took some other shifts at this place. So just I could bring her to watch shows and pay for food, and so she didn't have to take care of anything because at the moment she didn't have a job at that moment. And I remember I was working, and she was there with me the whole day basically because she didn't really know what else to do. So she was there, she had my phone, and she ran downstairs. I think I was downstairs in the office, and she ran downstairs screaming at me like, Paola, it's a number from Germany. And I said, yeah, but I'm working. I cannot respond. And she was like, you have to respond. So I picked up the phone, and they were the casting director of Bodyguard announcing me that I got cast as a Rachel Cover-Nikki in, sorry, no, that I got cast, I got confused with the tour, that I got cast as a background singer in the Bodyguard, as a background singer in the Bodyguard. That's how I started in Germany. And they told me, are you ready to start in 2 weeks or in a week or something like that? So I had to pack everything, and it was very beautiful because my best friend helped me to pack. Mind you, she moved there to be with me. So she stayed there like 1 month, 3 weeks, and then I had to leave. But basically I left her with the shift that I got to support her. Like she started working there, and now she's a manager of that place.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that's the full story basically. And I traveled, and I told her, don't worry, I'll be back in 1 year.
Oops.
Never came back. I really want to, though. I really want to. So if there is any casting director, please cast me, okay? I want to come back to the UK.
So, Paola, this is a silly question, but I mean, how many languages do you speak? And do you ever go, what language am I performing in?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because one time I went in, the first line of Nala is like she has the first scene where she's like Scar, and then she has a scene with Scar, and right after she has her song Shadowland that we all know, which in French is Stardom. But I do remember that one of the first time I performed it. I went in, and I don't know why I wanted to start with, like, I had to take a second because in my brain I was gonna start with Nuestro Lugar, which is the Spanish version. So because I know that song in English, in Spanish, because I got cast in Spain originally for The Lion King, and in German, that's all very confusing sometimes. And recently I was at the finals for Nala for first cast in Germany. So when I went back on the Tuesdays, I had to play Nala, and even there I was I was taking a second to realize, okay, French, get back to French, get back to French, because you've done the same scene, the same song in German, and now you have to do it in another language. So sometimes I struggle, but
wow,
I think it's part of the game of working in different countries, and yeah, that's just how it is.
I mean, it's amazing that it's a talent in itself to be able to speak multiple languages, let alone then apply it to something where you're singing, you're dancing, you're acting, you're jumping between shows. And equally, as you've mentioned, you're covering other roles. And we've been lucky enough to speak to a few understudies and a few people who have been covers in various shows. I myself, as I said, for Bunga Broadway, covered a lot of roles, and I've done it in other stuff. Drew, you too have covered other roles as well. But Paola, you're doing this incredible job where you're on stage every show, but sometimes it can be very last minute that you're jumping into a different role. How do you personally deal with being cover for different parts?
Yeah, so my position in The Lion King is a swing position. So actually, well, technically, I shouldn't be on stage every day. I should be a swing off stage, which it doesn't happen, especially in The Lion King. I figured it's a very hard for the swings to be off stage because it's a huge show, and people get injured or they're sick, or it's normal. It's a huge show, and we have like, I don't know, 7 costume changes, and it's a lot on the body and on the mind too. So it's normal that some people are not there. So I shouldn't be on stage every day, but I am. Like today, I will play double show as one of the sopranos. It is challenging, definitely, but now that I've been a swing, I would not go back for any reason. I love the fact that I get to play different characters. I love the fact that because our job, especially when you play for 2-3 years, the same show can get boring. And that doesn't happen to me because, of course, my position is a privileged position. I change role every day, so I don't get to be boring, or I don't get to have any automatism because I always need to think about what I'm doing because, of course, it's not my first track. So yeah, and it happened that I had to jump in as Nala last minute. It happened many times now, actually. One time it was many times, like it happened the first year at the 5 minutes call, but it's okay because Nala actually gets in the second act, the big Nala. The adult Nala, the young Nala starts first act. So it was fine. They had the time to do my makeup and everything else. But another time it actually happened middle of the show. So what happened is that they kept my eye makeup and face makeup that I had on already as ensemble, and they just worked around it to make me Nala. Yeah, we were singing Can't Wait to Be King, and I just saw my director walking towards me, and she was like, in the middle of the song, and I was like, why she wants me to stop singing? So I went her, and she was very calm. She very calmly told me, can you go to makeup? You're on as Nala. And I was like, okay, cool.
Wow.
Okay. It's extraordinary, is it? Because you make it sound so easy, so natural. And again, it's something that, like we were saying before, we know this happens all the time. This is happening in shows in the West End. It happened to me. I was cover. I was understudying someone. The interval I was on, and it was. It doesn't happen anywhere else.
No.
You can't stop that show. It's a juggernaut. It starts, and if something happens, it's got to be dealt with. And I don't think, and I still don't think, and we talk about it often. Sam and I have talked about it with performers on the podcast before. I still don't think swings, covers, understudies, call them what you will, and they do not get the credit they deserve because
absolutely not.
We know, and we mentioned it before during the Unwelcome Guest and coming out of that, and people being ill and having to have covers and insurance policies and blah blah blah. They kept the shows going, and still people don't recognize the skill. What you carry a whole show in your head.
Yeah, absolutely.
All those different tracks.
Agree. And we especially in The Lion King, we fight for it a lot, like to be recognized and appreciated. And it's a lot of us. We constantly save the shows. Our male swings in The Lion Kings are absolute beasts and heroes because they have been, literally both of them, they've been on stage every single day since months with no stop. So I really, really appreciate them. And if as girls we get the luxury to have one standby every 2 weeks, maybe every 3 weeks, in my case, no, but that's the usual. They don't get that luxury, actually. So yeah, it's amazing what they do. But even walking covers and all the covers, at the moment we have our cover Rafiki, and she's alone in the building because the other cover is not well. And she's been playing for like 3 weeks straight now. And she's a cover, so
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with what she can do, because yeah, she's been singing sopranos and then jumped into Rafiki. She hasn't stopped, and she's also my hero. Like, she does an incredible job every night. It's such a pleasure to see her growing in these characters, because as covers we don't get that chance. We play one time and then whatever mistakes you made, you cannot fix it because you have to wait until maybe in 3 weeks, 4 weeks that you're on stage again. So it's good to see a cover having this long run, because you can see her growing. You can see her character is literally now settled, and it's amazing, and she's finding things, and that's the beauty of it. So I'm very happy that she gets this opportunity, but at the same time it's very hard. Of course, it's very hard on everybody because it's a chain of events. If she's on stage as Rafiki, I will be on stage as her, and so on.
Exactly that. But no, obviously it's a fantastic opportunity, but it's also terrifying and exhausting, and everything sort of rolled into one. But Paola, it's been so wonderful catching up and getting to speak to you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now,
Thanks
we
to
are
you.
well aware you're about to go off and do a 2-show day. So you've managed to fit in this chat with us, which we're hugely, hugely appreciative of. So we are going to let you get on, because we know you've got lots to prepare for. But do us one thing before you go. We always like to, on Drewling Samantics, ask our guests for a funny story or an anecdote or something that's gone wrong or something that's memorable. You must have one. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, you're a little bit clumsy. I've done a fair few shows with you. I know what you like. So I'm guessing something along those lines. But go on, in our last couple of minutes.
I can tell you my favorite three.
Right, if you can fit 3 into the last couple of minutes, we'll love it. Yeah.
My favorite three. The first one was in Bodyguard. We had those big stairs in I'm Every Woman, and it was a salsa number, and we had heels on, and we had to be fabulous. We had these sparkling dresses on, and I fell from the step that was up. I fell until the last step down.
Oh, the whole
and I
way.
fell on the floor, and I thought the best idea was to just crawl and then pretend to disappear. So I didn't leave the stage. I just stayed there until one of my closest friends, also Marina Maniglio, which was a dancer in that show, a swing cover, Rachel, in that show. She was dancing around me, and then she told me, move! And, and she was like, Paula, get up! You cannot just stay on the floor. And yeah, I just thought maybe no one will see me. Maybe I will save the embarrassment until the curtain closes on this number. I will stay here. But yeah, that was not possible because, of course, the dancers had to continue. But I tried. Yeah. The second one, which one of my favorites, the two big ones were in the Lion King, actually, because I've been there for 3 years now. So the first one, I don't know if you remember the moment where we have the grass head. We're all grass, and we had this huge panel with grass on top of our head. And there is one of the tracks that goes around Mufasa at some point. She just does like a little turn around Mufasa, and that was me that day. And I got a little bit too close to Mufasa, who's in that moment is doing like to Simba, and he knocked completely my head. My grass head off me, and my hair. I had my hair prepped, but of course it came off with the thing. So from here I went.
Oh, just dropped. Wow.
I just took my grass, hid behind it, and just walked off. So that is a video that stage managers always show to people when they want to have a laugh, because of course they always record it. And the third one, actually, that happened kind of recently, is that I was on as Nala, and we have the fight confrontation at the end.
Yeah.
And another swing was on that day, because this is also the beauty. You always play with different people when the swings are on. And we were doing this fight between Nala and one of the hyenas, and he accidentally kicked my Nala mask. So my Nala mask fell, and I was very bold on stage with my wig cap. And the funny thing is that he looked at me and he screamed. And in that moment, like there is like a fight, like a very intense fight. So we're like, ah! And he kicked my mask, and I went, and he went, ah!
Wow.
And
Fantastic.
I was like, perfect. So I took my mask and I ran off once again.
Amazing. 3
So yeah,
fabulous stories from a fabulous performer and a wonderful person. Paola, it's been an absolute joy. Thank you so much, and all the best with your 2 shows later on today.
thank you. Need a lot of energy for this Wednesday double, but yeah, it's part of the game, and I feel very blessed. I just want to leave you with this message. I still feel very blessed. Sometimes we get tired, and sometimes we're like, oh, the same show every day. But I try to always stay positive and to think
Just enjoy
of
it.
how many other people would love to be in this show, how blessed I am.
And well, there she goes, ladies and gentlemen, listeners, viewers. An absolutely amazing interview with Paola. I mean, what an incredible talent, what an incredible lady, and so busy, in fact, that we lost her a little bit there because, as she said, she is in Paris, in The Lion King, about to dash off and do a matinee. So, unfortunately, we couldn't get her back, but we will let her go off and be as brilliant as we know she's going to be. And I mean, she'll probably be in another country, in another show at another point, Sam. We'll get her back, and in another language, we'll get her back on and talk some more, because what a wonderful, wonderful interview. What a wonderful lady.
Yeah, I mean, she's super, super talented. As obviously we were discussing, I had the pleasure of sharing a stage with her. She's got the most stunning voice. She's a brilliant actor, great dancer. But to be able to perform at such a high level in multiple languages, it's mind blowing, isn't it? Really, and
it is. It is.
She obviously is an advocate for swings and understudies, having done so much of that in her own career. But equally, she's been an incredibly strong leading lady. She's just done a bit of everything in such a short space of time, because she's not been in the industry all that long in the grand scheme of things. So to achieve everything she has and to go all the places she has, and we know she's got potential other things lined up as well. So yeah, just the most phenomenal career with such intrinsic talents within it. Yeah.
Well, I think when you look at someone who has those gifts that she has in multiple languages, it's not difficult to see why that she's going to go from show to show to show. Let's just hope that she goes from show to show to show, and eventually she makes it back to London and the West End, because I think she finds that she'll slot right in and be a hell of a hit. I think she would be amazing.
Absolutely. But so yeah, from one super talented individual to 2 numpties next week. No guest next week. Just the pair of us.
Just do me, my friend.
But an interesting topic to discuss next week. I'm quite excited because it all relates to things that have been going on very recently, things that we've done in the past, but things that I think people are going to find rather intriguing and maybe even at times a little bit jealous.
Yeah. I mean, Paola was interesting because she said it's this job is a privilege, and sometimes this job gets even more privileged, but we're not going to say any more than that.
No, and I'm twisting the screw just a little bit because about what I'm sort of referring to, and I know how much you are jealous of this particular.
Well, yeah, it does gall me slightly that my little podcast mate is going to have a. Yeah, I'm not saying anything. We won't spoil it, but
where I've been and what I've been doing, I think I've lucked out a little bit. But we'll leave that all for next time. Until then, I'll raise a glass, mate, to you, all our wonderful listeners and watchers, and of course the amazing Paola. Ladies and gents, join us next week where we're going to be talking about something different that's going to make you smile and make you wish that you were us. See you then. Cheers.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks again for watching this episode of Drewling Samantics.
Please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video.
Don't forget, we're also available as audio only. Just search Drewling Samantics in any good podcast app.
and please support us on social media. All our links and handles are on screen now.
We love welcoming new followers and subscribers, so why not share with your family and friends so they can join in too? Thanks very much. See you next time.